This video gives you a prediction of the Western Conference Finals. Game 7 against the Clippers made Denver the first team in league history to come back from two 3-1 series deficits in one postseason run. So with the Battle of LA over before it started, you're about to find out if the King LeBron and the Brow AD, or rising superstars Jamal and Nikola, will advance to the finals. Shout out to Nicholas for predicting the Heat will win the East because of multiple factors he goes in depth on. A great take, well worth pausing to read. I don't say it enough, but thanks for all the incredible answers that all you provide to the basketball universe. You guys are the best Hoops Talk community on YouTube. Once again, Denver will be the heavy underdog as many experts are picking the Lakers in 5, 6, or 7 games. However, that's right where the Nuggets feel comfortable. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray love playing with nothing to lose. Eliminating the presumptive title favorites after being down 3-1 for the second time these playoffs, now standing between Denver's first finals appearance is LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and a well-oiled machine in the L.A. Lakers. Before matching up these teams and ultimately picking a winner, we gotta talk about the Nuggets and then the Lakers' sensational stories in their own right that led each team to reach the West Finals. After Game 4 of the Nuggets vs. Clippers, when the Clippers took a 3-1 series lead on the Nugs, we all forgot about Denver overcoming that same series deficit against the Jazz in the first round. Kawhi had just dropped 30, and it was a foregone conclusion that LA would close out the series in 5 or 6 games. We presumed LA was a different animal than Utah, and the Clippers roster thought they had Denver right where they wanted them, but that turned out to be the opposite of the case. Because if there's one thing the Jokic-Murray-led Nuggets have proved to us, it's that they're a team that thrives off adversity. All throughout the 2019-20 season, the majority of fans and all of the mainstream media constantly talked about the Lakers or Clippers being the West favorites. More details of Denver's historic comeback against the Clippers are next, but following Denver shocking the world in Game 7 of that series, upsetting a team that was guaranteed by the general public to at the very least reach the West Finals, here's what Nikola Jokic had to say about the disrespect.
Nobody wants us here. Nobody think that we can do something, and we prove ourselves and prove everybody that we can do something. You know, so next is Lakers, another tough opponent for us. But we're just gonna be out there and having fun.
For some reason, Denver starts competing at a championship caliber level the moment we all think they have no chance. When the Nuggets were getting torn up by Donovan Mitchell in round 1 and then Kawhi in round 2, let's face it, we thought they didn't have the firepower around Jamal and Nikola this year. And don't be ashamed if you again thought that when the Clippers led by 16 in Game 5, led by 19 in Game 6, and then led by 12 in Game 7. I could tell you about how Jeremy Grant did an outstanding job of bothering Kawhi Leonard, and how Denver's defense did a very solid job from start to finish. But the determination and belief of Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, and head coach Mike Malone pushed the Clippers over the top. And the Clippers' superstars choking, plus LA's poor defensive game planning from Doc Rivers, didn't hurt either. I'll make a separate video on the Clippers' mess of a situation right now, but if you only saw bits and pieces of the Nuggets-Clippers Game 7, or just haven't realized the main reason why this upset occurred, it comes down to the Clippers and Nuggets reacting differently when things don't go their way. When Denver felt their chances slipping out of reach, their top scoring options provided the toughness and spirit to their teammates and came through with clutch daggers time after time. Of course, the Lakers won't choke like the Clippers did, but what actually makes the Nuggets scary is that when the world counts them out, they use it as fuel to their fire. Given the circumstances of the comeback and the expectations of the Clippers, Denver easily pulled off one of the greatest upsets in league history, as Kendrick Perkins mentioned. A Game 7 triple-double from Jokic and 36 points from rising superstar Jamal Murray made Denver the first team in league history to come back from two 3-1 series deficits in one postseason. Jokic has typically provided like the best passing center in league history. Now he's surrounded by a cast living up to their potential. The flamethrower Jamal Murray's proven himself to be a superstar, plus a healthy, sharpshooting Gary Harris and a young phenom in Michael Porter Jr. on the wing are all hitting perimeter jumpers. You also can't forget Denver has bulky perimeter stoppers who are laterally quick, and one of the best backup point guards in the league in Monte Morris. Morris can create anything off the dribble, and he's capable of going off for 20 to 30 points on any given night to swing a series. On the other side of the spectrum, while the Lakers have had a painlessly dominant 10-game stretch in 2020's playoffs, it's what LA's had to overcome organizationally that makes their story special. The iconic franchise is trying to make the finals for the first time since they won it all in 2010. The last man to lead them there was the late, great Kobe Bean Bryant, and you can bet honoring the Black Mamba's legacy will be in the heart of every player rocking the purple and gold. This year, we devastatingly lost 8 members of the basketball family, and while some things in life don't make sense, all we can do is honor our friends that have fallen. Led by one of Kobe's closest friends in Lebron, the Mamba mentality is alive and well amongst the modern-day Lake Show. And while at one time LA's 1-2 punch carrying their team's chances was Bryant and Gasol, now the Lakers have another all-time great 1-2 punch in James and Davis. The cohesion between the two Lakers superstars is airtight. They know when it's each other's time to take over. In the quick and painless 10 Laker playoff games, the King LeBron's averaging 27 points, 10 boards, and 9 assists, while the Brow's averaging 28 points, 11 boards, 4 assists, and 1.5 blocks. But I'm thinking this series will be more based off of defense than you'd expect, because with all due respect to Rudy Gobert, Jokic is facing the best big man defender in basketball by far. The way Davis moves laterally is something different when he's locked in. AD's IQ and length have made him a defensive freak in the NBA ever since he was 2012's first overall pick. And you could say the same thing about the ridiculous hustle and hops of 2003's most hyped up draft prospect. The most underrated part about LeBron is his defense. To go along with the hustle and hops from James, his beastly lateral quickness and size combinations overwhelms attackers. Meanwhile, it'll be interesting to see how Davis plays against Nikola Jokic. It won't be at all like facing the midget Rockets, where the league's top power forward in AD, facing and posting up against the best center in the game will be a much bigger challenge. What makes Denver effective enough defensively to slow down all-stars comes down to their wing defense. Torrey Craig, Jeremy Grant, and Michael Porter Jr. all have wingspans over 7 feet. Craig and Grant are likely going to be LeBron's primary defenders, though. But the question here is, can at the age of 35, for yet another time in his career, can the King outlast a young and talented group? Or will the lengthy, springy, and bulky Denver defenders get to him? After watching every game of his 3-year dismantling of my Raptors, I know how LeBron can pick apart teams mentally with his supreme confidence and aura, as well as on the court with his ability to change speeds off the dribble at an elite level, attack the rim like a freight train, as well as pull up for deep-range bombs in the clutch. But I already told you about the cast of defenders I expect to slow that down. My biggest concern for the Lakers is who do they put on Jamal Murray? The GOAT Alex Caruso is obviously no joke on defense. He had a brilliant chase down block on Harden, a few other great defensive plays. But when he's not on the floor, will an aging Rondo have any chance against Jamal? I think Kentavious Caldwell-Pope or even LeBron may have to be Murray's primary defenders, but can Coach Frank Vogel put together the right game plan for him is also the question, because Jamal Murray is going off. He's probably my favorite player right now, and he looks unstoppable. The Lakers' main weakness is their three-point shooting. So far, they've coped with that, but they're about to face a cast of snipers and 2 all-stars in Nikola Jokic and Jamal. Based off all that, here's my prediction. As good as they are, the Nuggets duo are going to struggle to outdo LeBron and Davis. That means the Nuggets role players are going to have to step up. I think they do in some games and hit enough threes to make this a series. I think this goes 7 games and goes down to the wire. And in the moments down the stretch, Jamal and Nikola have certainly showed up so far. However, I predict LeBron and AD outlast the Nuggets' young duo in a series for the ages, Lakers in 7. Subscribe if you enjoyed that breakdown, and for next video shoutout, let me know who you have in this series. Go check out who I had in the Celtics Heat series, but this was D-Flow, and I'll see you next video.